The morning of January 8, 2025, began with clear skies over Los Angeles, but for many of Hollywood's brightest stars, it quickly turned into a nightmare. Wildfires, becoming an increasingly devastating threat to California, tore through the coastal areas, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Multi-million-dollar mansions, once symbols of success and opulence, were reduced to ashes. Among the casualties were some of Hollywood's biggest names, including Mel Gibson, Paris Hilton, John Goodman, and Anthony Hopkins. The damage was not just to the structures themselves, but to the personal histories within them, homes filled with irreplaceable memories and possessions. For these celebrities, the loss was as emotional as it was material. Mel Gibson, a heartbreaking loss of memories and legacy. Mel Gibson, the iconic actor and director known for his powerful performances in Braveheart, 1995, and The Patriot, 2000, was one of the most prominent figures affected by the wildfires. His Mediterranean-style mansion in Malibu, valued at an estimated $14.5 million, was reduced to ashes on the morning of January 8, 2025. Gibson had lived in the home for over 15 years, raising his children there and hosting countless gatherings. It was a sanctuary of sorts, a place where he had not only enjoyed success, but had also built lasting memories. At the time of the fire, Gibson was in Texas, recording a podcast with Joe Rogan. He was completely unaware of the disaster unfolding on the other side of the country. When he learned of the devastation, Gibson was in shock. His reaction was a mixture of disbelief and an attempt to find humor in the situation. On the podcast, he joked that the fire had relieved him of his stuff, as everything turned to ash. However, beneath the humor, it was clear that the loss had deeply affected him. The destruction was not just material, it was personal. Gibson's home was more than just a building. It was a place where he had experienced some of the most important moments of his life. As the fire tore through the area, it also claimed the homes of his neighbors, including actors Ed Harris and Jeff Bridges. Entire communities in Malibu were left in ruins. Gibson, known for his passionate views, did not hold back in criticizing California's handling of wildfires. He pointed out the lack of preparation and preventive measures taken by the state, especially in managing the forests, which he believed had contributed to the widespread devastation. John Goodman, a home, a haven, and heartbreak. John Goodman, the beloved actor known for his roles in Roseanne and The Big Lebowski, also faced an unimaginable loss when his home in Pacific Palisades was consumed by the flames. The sleek, modern home, designed by renowned architect Michael Malin, was a striking property, with large windows offering breathtaking views of the ocean. The house, which Goodman had purchased in 2008 for $4.6 million, featured 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, an infinity pool, and drought-resistant gardens. It was a luxurious retreat for Goodman, where he would escape between filming projects and reflect on his decades-long career. On the day the fire broke out, Goodman and his wife were not at home, as they often split their time between Los Angeles and New Orleans. When photos of the house after the fire surfaced, they showed the tragic aftermath, a scene of destruction with only the faintest traces of what had once been a beautiful, carefully curated home. While Goodman has not publicly addressed the loss, it's clear that it's a devastating blow for the actor. Fans and friends have expressed their concern, wondering how the beloved actor is coping with the emotional weight of losing so much. The loss of a home is always difficult, but for someone like Goodman, who has lived in the house for so many years and accumulated so many personal memories there, the pain runs even deeper. As he processes the aftermath, it is likely that the grief of losing not only the physical structure of his home, but the special moments that happened within it will linger. Paris Hilton, a life shattered in a blaze. Paris Hilton, the reality star, socialite, and entrepreneur, also faced a catastrophic loss in the fires. Her Malibu mansion, worth a staggering $51 million, was reduced to nothing but ashes in a matter of hours. Hilton, who had purchased the home just a few years earlier, in 2021, had come to view it as a sanctuary for her growing family. She lived there with her husband, Carter Room, and their two young children, Phoenix and London. The house was not just a luxury home, but a place filled with personal significance, where Hilton had made precious memories with her family. In an emotional Instagram post, Hilton shared the heartbreak of watching her home burn to the ground live on television. It was an incredibly surreal and devastating experience for her, but Hilton, ever the composed figure, expressed immense gratitude that her family was safe. The fire may have destroyed her material possessions, but it didn't take away what mattered most: the love and well-being of her family. Despite the immense loss, Hilton showed compassion for those who were also affected by the disaster, acknowledging the countless others who had lost their homes, pets, and loved ones in the fires. Hilton also took a moment to thank the firefighters and first responders, whom she called heroes for their bravery and tireless efforts to battle the flames. It was a poignant gesture, demonstrating a side of Hilton that went beyond the glamorous persona she is often known for. Her response to the tragedy not only showcased her resilience, but also highlighted her growing awareness of the world beyond the entertainment industry. In her public statements, Hilton has shown a remarkable strength, considering the magnitude of the loss she experienced. Anthony Hopkins, a calm in the midst of tragedy academy. Award-winning actor Anthony Hopkins, famous for his chilling portrayal of Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs, 1991, also saw his home fall victim to the fires. His Pacific Palisades home, a peaceful retreat where he had spent quiet moments away from the public eye, was destroyed on January 9, 2025. Hopkins had purchased the property just a few years earlier in 2021 for $6 million. The house, with its 4 bedrooms and stunning views of the ocean and mountains, was meant to be a place of solitude and reflection. This was not the first time Hopkins had lost a home to fire. In 2000, a fire destroyed his property in London, and during the 2018 Woolsey fire, his Malibu home narrowly escaped the flames. Yet, this latest disaster was different. Hopkins, ever the dignified figure, faced the destruction of his home with remarkable grace. Despite the immense personal loss, he quickly turned to social media to express his gratitude for the support he had received from his fans, friends, and firefighters. 2 days after the fire, Hopkins posted a message on Instagram that resonated deeply with his followers. In it, he shared a perspective that reflected his profound wisdom. As we all struggle to heal from the devastation of these fires, it's important we remember that the only thing we take with us is the love we give. This message, full of compassion and understanding, provided solace to many who were grappling with their own losses. It also highlighted Hopkins's ability to find meaning in the face of tragedy, focusing on the intangible things that matter most: love, connection, and the shared human experience. Miles Teller and Anna Faris, Grief and Resilience. The fires also affected younger stars like Miles Teller and Anna Faris, both of whom were equally devastated by the destruction of their homes. Teller, known for his roles in Whiplash, 2014, and Top Gun, Maverick, 2022, and his wife Keely Sperry, lost their $7.7 million Pacific Palisades home in the blaze. The luxurious property, with 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and a pool that seemed to blend seamlessly into the ocean was a dream home that they had purchased just 2 years earlier in 2023. The couple expressed their grief on social media, sharing photos of their home before and after the fire. The images showed the stark contrast between what was once a beautiful, tranquil space and the charred remains left behind by the fire. Teller, known for keeping his personal life private, made a rare public statement about the loss, emphasizing how grateful he was that he and his wife were safe. "Material things can be replaced, but lives cannot," he wrote, highlighting the importance of family and well-being in the face of such a tragedy. Similarly, Anna Faris, the actress known for Scary Movie, 2000, and Mom, 2013 to 2021, faced her own heart-wrenching loss. Her farmhouse-style home in Pacific Palisades, bought in 2019 for $4.9 million, was completely destroyed. The house had been a symbol of a fresh start for Faris, a place she had created with her son after her divorce from Chris Pratt. The news of the fire came as a shock, with Pratt publicly sharing the devastating information on Instagram. The fire strikes, an unthinkable reality. On the evening of January 7, 2025, the wildfires that had been raging across Southern California closed in on Pacific Palisades. Spencer and Heidi, along with their children, 7-year-old Gunnar and 3-year-old Riker, had to make a harrowing decision. The fire was rapidly approaching, and evacuation orders were issued for their area. The family gathered whatever they could in haste, knowing that they had no time to waste. In a tearful Instagram Live session the following day, Heidi spoke to her followers, devastated by the reality of what they were going through. "We didn't even know what to grab," she said, her voice shaky with emotion. "Spencer told me to grab important things, but I was too overwhelmed to think straight. I didn't know where to start." In the chaos, Heidi decided to grab their children's teddy bears, objects of sentimental value that could not be replaced. It wasn't practical, nor was it necessarily the most valuable item to save, but those bears represented their children's childhoods. They were irreplaceable, much like the memories they had made in their beautiful new home. Spencer, too, struggled with the loss. "I can't believe it," he said in a separate post. "Our son's bed. It burned in the shape of a heart. It's insane. It's out of body." To him, the heart-shaped burn mark was an eerie and poignant symbol of the deep emotional impact of their loss. It wasn't just their physical home that was destroyed. It was the heart of their family's life. The place they had poured so much love and energy into was gone. Their children's memories, their dreams for the future, and their hard-earned progress were all lost in an instant. Steve Guttenberg, A Sanctuary. Lost amid the devastation caused by the wildfires, another well-known figure lost his home. Actor Steve Guttenberg. Best known for his roles in beloved films like Police Academy, 1984, and 3 Men and a Baby, 1987, Guttenberg had lived in his Spanish-style villa in Pacific Palisades since 1999. He had often referred to the home as his sanctuary, a place of peace and solace after years of being in the public eye. The property, a serene retreat, featured 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a wine cellar, and lush gardens. Guttenberg had recently spent $500,000 renovating the property, adding a state-of-the-art kitchen and a rooftop deck that offered stunning views of the ocean. On January 7, 2025, when the fire spread toward his neighborhood, Steve Guttenberg woke up to the harsh reality of the situation. The fire was headed straight for his home, and there was little time to evacuate. By the time it was over, his beloved villa was gone. The entire property was reduced to rubble, leaving behind only the charred remains of what had once been his peaceful haven. Instead of focusing solely on his loss, Gutenberg immediately shifted his attention to helping his neighbors. He cleared abandoned cars, blocking roads, allowing fire trucks to get through more easily. He comforted scared families, doing whatever he could to bring calm to the chaos. It's amazing how even small things like moving cars can help save lives in these situations, Gutenberg shared in an interview. Though he had lost his home, Gutenberg remained focused on the bigger picture. In an Instagram post, he expressed his gratitude toward the first responders and firefighters, calling them the true heroes. This tragedy showed me that no matter how rich or successful you are, in the end, everyone just wants safety and help, he said. What matters most is the strength of our community. Cameron Matheson, heartbreak and reflection. Another celebrity who faced the unbearable loss of his home was actor Cameron Matheson. Best known for his role as Ryan Lavery on All My Children and his current role on General Hospital, Matheson had called his Mediterranean-style villa in Pacific Palisades home for over a decade. The house, which he had purchased in 2012 for $6.7 million, was a place filled with fond memories. Matheson and his wife Vanessa had 2 children, and the home had been a space for their family to grow and create lasting memories. The property had stunning views of the ocean and featured a custom treehouse that their kids adored, along with a gym where Matheson filmed workout videos for his fans. On January 8, 2025, while filming a segment for QVC, Matheson received the devastating news that the fire was rapidly approaching his neighborhood. He rushed home, knowing he had only minutes to grab what he could before evacuating. There was so little time, he later said in an emotional Instagram post. I was able to grab a few documents, a couple of personal items, but the most important things, the things I should have saved, are gone. When he returned, his house was reduced to ash. In the video he posted, he showed the desolate remains, his voice breaking as he described how everything had been really decimated. Melissa Rivers, a family's legacy destroyed. Melissa Rivers, the daughter of legendary comedian Joan Rivers, also experienced the unimaginable loss of her home in the wildfires. Joan had purchased the house in Brentwood in 1988 for $2.9 million. And after her mother's passing in 2014, Melissa inherited it, maintaining it as a treasure trove of family history. The home held precious mementos, including Joan's wardrobe, decades of joke cards, and countless family photos. It was also a connection to Melissa's late father, Edgar Rosenberg, who passed away in 1987. As the fire closed in on January 8, 2025, Melissa had to make quick decisions about what to save. In an interview, she revealed that she took her mother's Emmy, a photo of her father, and a drawing that Joan had made of Melissa and her son. The drawing was something unique, something that couldn't be replaced, she explained. It wasn't just a photo. It was a piece of my family's history. The loss of her home, which contained so many irreplaceable memories, was crushing. It's the end of everything that belonged to my family, Melissa said, her voice breaking. Despite the devastation, she found solace in the fact that her family and pets were safe. The physical items are gone, but the memories will live on, she said, with a sense of quiet resolve. Cary Elwes, a piece of the past lost. For Cary Elwes, best known for his role in The Princess Bride, the fire destroyed more than just his home. It consumed a part of his personal history. Elwes had owned his house in Pacific Palisades since 2004, having purchased it for $3.8 million. Built in 1929, the house was filled with charm and history. It featured original tiles, hand-carved wooden beams, and a tranquil courtyard that Elvis referred to as his oasis of tranquility. When the fire spread near his neighborhood on January 8, 2025, Carey was forced to evacuate. "There was little time to grab anything," he said. When he returned, his home was gone. The house, along with all of his personal keepsakes, costumes, scripts, and journals, was destroyed. "The journals were my connection to the past," Elvis explained. "They were a part of me, a piece of my soul. Losing them felt like losing something irreplaceable." Despite the immense pain, Elvis remained grateful for his survival and the support of his community. "While we mourn the loss of our home and the memories it held, we are profoundly grateful for the bravery of those who fought to save our community," he said in a heartfelt message to first responders. Leighton Meester and Adam Brody's unforeseen loss. Another celebrity couple, Leighton Meester and Adam Brody, also faced the tragic destruction of their home in the same wildfire. Meester, who became a household name for her role as Blair Waldorf in Gossip Girl, and Brody, beloved for his portrayal of Seth Cohen in The O.C., were forced to confront the unthinkable. The couple had invested in a beautiful home in Pacific Palisades back in 2019 for $6.5 million. A nearly 6,000-square-foot residence with stunning ocean views, luxurious features, and 5 spacious bedrooms. It was a place where they could relax and build their future together. However, the fire came swiftly and relentlessly. Strong winds, gusting up to 100 miles per hour, spread the flames, consuming everything in its path. Leighton and Adam's home was no exception. Photos that surfaced showed the garage engulfed in flames, the roof caved in, and the once beautiful structure reduced to charred ruins. For days, the couple remained silent, processing the magnitude of their loss. Then, Adam Brody spoke about the destruction on The Tonight Show, expressing the surreal nature of losing everything so quickly. But he was quick to add that they were grateful for their safety. Jhené Aiko's heartbreak and resilience. Jhené Aiko, a famous R&B singer with a soulful voice that has captivated millions, also fell victim to the wildfires. Known for albums like Sold Out and Chambo, Jhené had earned Grammy nominations and a loyal following over the years. In July 2023, she had purchased her dream home in Pacific Palisades for $5.6 million. The property was more than just a luxurious residence, it was her sanctuary. With large windows, an infinity pool, and sweeping views of the ocean, the home served as a source of inspiration for her music. A recording studio was set up in the house, allowing her to create songs that resonated deeply with her audience. On January 8, 2025, Jhené was away with her family when the devastating news arrived. Their home had burned down. A neighbor sent her a photo of the flames overtaking the house, with smoke billowing into the sky and obscuring the ocean view that had inspired so many of her songs. Devastated, Jhené shared the photo on Instagram, expressing her heartbreak. Despite the overwhelming loss of her home and all her belongings, she found solace in the fact that her family was safe. This was not the first time Jhené had experienced such a tragedy. When she was a little girl, her family's home had also burned down, making this loss even more difficult to bear. In her post, Jhené wrote that she was praying for everyone who had lost their homes, belongings, or loved ones, as well as for the animals affected by the fires. One of the hardest things for Jhené to accept was the loss of irreplaceable personal items, like the notebooks where she had first started composing music and rare vinyl records. Perhaps most painful of all was the loss of a grand piano, a gift from her late friend and mentor, Nipsey Hussle. This personal connection made the loss of her home even more profound. Tina Knowles and the devastation of loss. Tina Knowles, the mother of pop superstar Beyoncé, was another public figure whose home was destroyed by the wildfires. Tina, known for her work as a fashion designer and for her role in the creation of Destiny's Child's iconic stage outfits, had purchased a bungalow in Malibu in 2015 for $5.9 million. It was a place where Tina found peace, created her designs, and worked on her memoir. The home had panoramic views of the ocean, and its walls were decorated with memorabilia from her daughter's incredible career. It was more than just a house to Tina. It was a reflection of her life's work and her connection to her family. On January 9, 2025, Tina posted a heartbreaking video on Instagram showing dolphins swimming near her bungalow just days before the fire took it all. In her post, Tina expressed her sorrow over losing her happy place, but also extended her gratitude to the firefighters who had risked their lives to save homes and lives. Tina's heart went out to all those who had lost their homes in the fire, and she pledged to help. She gave out clothes from her fashion line to fire victims and announced a new clothing collection called Phoenix Rising, with all proceeds going toward wildfire relief efforts. Jeff Bridges and the loss of a family legacy. Jeff Bridges, the iconic actor known for his roles in The Big Lebowski and Crazy Heart, also suffered the loss of a home that held significant sentimental value. The ranch-style house in Malibu, which had been in his family since 1958, was not just a place where Jeff lived. It was the place where he grew up, spent time with his family, and created lasting memories. It was the home where he learned to play the guitar, and where he had his first kiss. The house had deep emotional significance, and its destruction left Jeff and his family heartbroken. On January 8, 2025, Jeff was in New York for work when he received the news that his childhood home had burned down. Upon returning to California, he shared his grief with his fans, holding his father's burnt hat as a symbol of the past that was now lost. Among the things Jeff lost was his art studio, where he painted and kept photographs from his movie sets. Despite the overwhelming sadness, Jeff remained positive. He referenced his famous character, the Dude, by saying, "The Dude abides, showing his unshakable spirit." To support those affected by the fires, Jeff helped out at a relief center, singing a song of hope on a donated guitar. His Hollywood friends, including John Goodman, also rallied around him, organizing a fundraiser that raised over $500,000 for the local fire department. Jeff made it clear that he intended to rebuild on the same property, using materials from the original house, and even announced plans to auction off movie memorabilia, including his famous sweater from The Big Lebowski, to raise money for fire victims.